All right, guys, let's talk about it. So Venezuela is bombed and Maduro is arrested. The U.S. has been actively hostile to Venezuela for decades. Now, the prime target is Nicolas Maduro. The U.S. in recent months stepped up their aggression, droning boats, claiming they were shipping narcotics to the U.S., providing little evidence to prove their claim, which has now culminated in the U.S. bombing Caracas and capturing Maduro and his wife for them to stand trial in New York. Is this the latest U.S. intervention in South America? Is this really about drugs, or is Venezuela now a colony because of their vast oil reserves? Let's talk about it.
My opinion is it's ridiculous. I feel like the U.S. is trying to use a Cold War tactic in a very different era, especially for Latin America and the third world, where you see the BRICS nations developing different developing nations and allying themselves with them, like China and Russia. And now they have actual like backing from superpowers that are in opposition to the U.S. So it's a lot more dangerous than it was back in like 1964. Because now that we invaded, we didn't just invade them, but like we kidnapped their president as a power move. And then Trump automatically declares like now we run the country when that's completely not true. And now Delcy Rodriguez was sworn in as the president. And she said, Maduro gave us clear instructions. We're going to defend our motherland to the death. So if the U.S. comes in and tries to take their oil, it's going to be a war. And Trump's acting like it's not going to be that. And now we got China and Russia breathing down our neck. It's very dangerous. And I think it was really stupid.
How do you feel about Maduro, though? Because, like, he was there illegitimately.
Dictator.
So with Maduro, I don't necessarily buy that he was there illegitimately, because at the same time, the same people saying that are the same people that are trying to oust him for years now. You know, I don't necessarily I'm not gonna like invalidate the stories of people that have gotten away from Venezuela. I don't know what it's like to live there under all the sanctions and all the shit that they've been through over the past few years. It hasn't been easy. But at the same time, we got to keep in mind, like, America hasn't been making it easy for them. You know what I mean? And with all these different, like the West and the US have their own interests, and China and Russia have different interests. So there's two different narratives that I try to not get too biased on, because I feel like that's lost on a lot of Americans, including the president. Because I feel like the president thought that, like, oh, once we remove Maduro because he's a dictator, that means we control everything. But really, no, it's not that. They have a whole government apparatus that clearly he hasn't studied or just doesn't care to study. You know what I mean? I feel like that's the case with a lot of people. So I don't necessarily want to call Maduro legitimate, illegitimate. I don't think it's right by international law to do that.
Question: would you be open to changing your mind after? Because now that he's locked up and he's gonna be indicted and
is indicted
trial, is indicted, but if you actually see proof that like he was overrunning this violent drug organization and shipping a lot of drugs into the United States, would that change your mind?
It would, but I don't believe that he was. I think that whole narrative of him being a narco dictator is a fucking Trump fabrication to excuse him going in there for oil. It's very blatant in our face this time. He's been saying, yeah, well, we could use that Venezuelan oil. Oh, wow, I really would like to have some of that Venezuelan oil. But now he's got the opportunity to go in there and get that Venezuelan oil, and he's probably going to do it at everybody else's expense, which tends to be a thing with him. He doesn't seem to care about anybody else. But I don't buy that Maduro was pushing drugs, because it doesn't make sense either, because the pipeline is you go from the jungles in the southern Peru and Bolivia, and then that's where they process the cocaine.
Don't give up the game.
Up north. Yeah. And then they go to Colombia. That's where they fly it out to Central America or Mexico, and then it goes up the border through Mexico. That's the classic pipeline. It doesn't make sense to go to Venezuela. It's out of the way.
Nick, I would be careful, because you're giving up a lot of game right now. I don't know if you were part of this right now.
Man, if you watch the show Narcos, bro, watch the show Narcos. They gave up the game. I'm just relaying the information. I didn't make this up.
Yo, do you think Venezuela is the first domino to fall? Do you think we go after Colombia, Mexico?
Yeah, I think that especially with like Marco Rubio as one of Trump's advisors, he's a Cuban American, and the Cuban American community is very against the Cuban government for obvious reasons. I mean, they got out of that country, but they really want to like undermine the Cuban government really, really fucking badly. So I think that Marco Rubio might get in his ear about going to Cuba. Trump was just saying Mexico is next, because apparently we got to strong arm Mexico now, which Mexico is complicated. Mexico is like a mess, man, because it really is like cartels in control of a lot of stuff.
Well, cartels
But, like,
control the government.
Yeah,
Cartels
exactly.
control
And it's,
the figureheads, and that's the primary difference. Maduro was what? He was voted out, wasn't he not? What, didn't he not lose an election and remain in power because he was that? He just decided to do that. He did the Chavez thing. So he's continuing a vicious circle of dominance and dictatorship, and the people there wanted a different things, right? And all over, I'm seeing nothing but celebrations and that he's gone, this, that, and the third. I know his vice president said they're gonna keep following suit of what Maduro was doing. However, she could be next. So, like,
yeah,
I don't think she's gonna last in that. But listen, I don't know. It seems like there's more jubilation than anything that he's out of there. And the only difference between Venezuela and all these other countries is they're saying that he's somewhat ahead of a narco state. He's the head of it, but you're also the president, quote president, right? So in that case, at this point, you can intervene. Whereas you have Sheinbaum of Mexico, she's not the head of a cartel organization, so you can't do nothing about it. She just says, "Oh, we need help.
That's a little tricky though, because like if we intervene just because he's doing something in his country and we haven't provided proof that he's doing anything to affect the United States, doesn't this give the okay to every other superpower to just go in?
No, I mean, right now he's on charges. He was extradited, right? He's indicted. So the United States put that out there. Now, listen, let's not act like any other country can just go in there and do some stuff like that. What they did, the SEALs or Delta Force, whoever it was, what they did was wild work. They went in there and did work. No one else in the world could probably do that type of thing. So, listen, sometimes you just got to let America, USA, throw that big dick around. That's all.
Oh my God.
That's all. You should be proud of what we can do.
Letty loves big dick. That's what we got from
No. See, that's what you got.
Man.
That's
what
what
you
you
talking
got.
about penis. I'm trying to talk politics this time. Damn.
Well, it's a new year, and Al is openly ready to come out.
Since you're here, Venezuela, because aren't you from
This is what I really wanted to talk about. No, my mother's from Ecuador. You racist piece of shit.
Oh yeah, you're Mexican.
Yeah, Mexican, Cuban. So I flew out of Quito at midnight and I land at 4 a.m. in Miami, and I open up my phone and I see all the events happen. And I'm like, damn, I got out at the perfect time. But this is weird. I like what we did. Absolutely.
Okay, why?
As an American, and like, do you know what the Monroe Doctrine is, Al?
No, tell us.
That's the Monroe Doctrine, baby. Go ahead.
The Monroe Doctrine was made by President Monroe. I forget. I think it was like 19th century, like in the 1800s. He was like, anything in the Western Hemisphere is the U.S. sphere of influence, and we should have our hands on everything. And that is 100% true. 100% true.
Who the fuck are we to dictate the world?
I'll tell you this.
Superpower that we are.
Yeah, dude, we're the #1 global power. We should absolutely have our hands on everything.
Who do you want us to be, like Canada?
I don't want China. Yeah, I don't want China to like have relations with Venezuela and with Panama. No, because listen, I'll tell you a quick story. In 2006, the president of Ecuador was anti-imperialist and rewrote the Constitution and took out the U.S. Coast Guard off the coast of Ecuador. And you know what happened? All the narcos started flooding into Ecuador, and now it's one of the worst run countries in South America. Okay. Because of U.S. influence there, it was a better run country.
America is allowing cocaine to come into America. Like, you guys are dumb. You know they're just looking the other way. The amount of cocaine that you sniff up your nose is coming in legally.
I felt like that was targeted, but
I'm just saying,
I don't think targeted.
I'm not telling you shit anymore. Al. No, but
Al, this was a drug run.
Al, let's also stop pretending like this was about drugs ever. And I know this. I don't care.
Okay.
Trump openly said, like, yeah, we're going to take the oil reserves. We're going to run the country. That was what it was all about. And by the way, that's okay. That's okay. I want us to run the Western Hemisphere. Okay. And if you use drugs as like a way of getting the president you want in place, then fuck it, do it. But the U.S. should have their hands on everything that goes on in the Western Hemisphere. We are the #1 superpower in this region of the world, and we should absolutely run this shit.
Oh my God, what's going on? All right, wait, question. So you guys saying the U.S. should be able to do that because we're a superpower. So what happens when our standing in the world declines and China is now the #1 superpower? Do they have the right to just dictate whatever the fuck they want to do with America?
It's not on that side of the world.
Yeah, man. Like if they want to take back Taiwan, that's their side of the world. Do it. I think they will. Too.
And guess what?
Okay.
If they wanted to run their own Monroe Doctrine on that side of the world, they can't because our big dick's already telling them don't do it.
So they should take Taiwan then, since they can just run shit on that side of the world.
You listen. China could try to take Taiwan. The U.S. won't let them happen. Why do you think they haven't taken it?
You just contradicted yourself. You just said they can run their shit over there.
I'm not contradicting. You didn't hear what I said. I said, we're going to do what we're going to do on our side, but if they wanted to do it, they could try. But because our big dick is out there, they can't.
All right. So might is right. I get it. All right. Yo, David, before you go, I know you have so many crazy things you did last year and probably already have done this year. What's one thing that you can think of, the wildest thing you did last year in 2025? If you enjoyed that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps me get the show out to more people. And if you'd like to call in on future episodes, head over to patreon.com/AMmornings. I'll see you there.